What if I was to tell you there's something amazing in your own backyard, and all you need to do is take advantage of what's there and try something for yourself and get started? It was now my second season of getting peaches from my peach tree, and this time I only got two. They didn't taste that great, and I was so sad, disappointed, and frustrated, and was wondering what went wrong. I kind of want to take you through that and how to fix something like that and the importance of taking action. So, to give you some context, I'm a Salvatore, 9 to 5 office worker, someone with not much experience or ideas about, nature, growing stuff, plants, and just more of a guy in terms of not necessarily like as nurturing or knowing about this type of thing. So I'm trying to overcome that and have some nice, yummy, juicy pieces for next year, hopefully. So it's not cool to, I guess, wait and have so much effort of like waiting a whole year and to have like no successful yield. Now, for context, I did have to pare back and cut a lot of my peach tree down because it was really difficult to get like a net over it to kind of prevent birds from getting in there. And then even this year as well, like the net was there, but I think it was just like evident that the efforts of me watering when I would remember at times was so like intermittent and stressful for the tree. I think the way in which I did that also kind of then resulted in the poor tree like just not doing that well. And I think that kind of was like, well, let's go back to basics and let's actually figure out like what's going on here. And it seems that like the water was not getting into where it needed to, and therefore the tree was like getting quite stressed. So like any normal person in Australia with a problem related to the home or the outdoors, I went to Bunnings, and walking up the aisle, which is like this big green shed. It's like the national business of Australia, I guess. It's this big green shed that has everything you can imagine. So in that, I was walking up and down the irrigation aisle, not knowing what on earth anything was, feeling like an absolute idiot. And then kind of realizing that, well, while I'm here, I might as well ask ChatGPT for a bit of help. So we kind of got a bit of an outline about what's going on, but it still wasn't super clear because all these concepts and terms and ideas were foreign. I just knew in like my head, I had to get something from the tap to the tree and then kind of like, water out to parts of the tree and then have that on a timer. Like that's like the crux of what I knew. So I guess the ChatGPT kind of helped me understand how the whole thing works. So in this situation, like I got this really long piece of like, I think it was like tubing or something, it was like 13 mil. And basically I understood that that would be like the main channel. And I'm gonna like overlay me doing stuff on the peach tree so you can see what I'm talking about, because it will make this video more engaging and it will kind of be able to explain what on earth I'm talking about. So that's kind of how this is going to work. So like I'm saying, there's this main like long bit, which I had to determine. So I got like an extra long length and I kind of measured it out to the peach tree and then cut it. And then what I did was I had zip ties, so I secured it all along to the fence line. And then I obviously like, before all that, tried to set up the like digital timer tap as well, make sure that was connected. I had to split the tap with a brass splitter. So basically I could still use the hose normally on the lawn and then have this kind of whole separate channel to kind of cultivate water to the tree, which is really cool. So in doing so, that was like simple enough, but then it kind of got more technical because I had to punch, well, not punch. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, unscrew this, we go off manual, does that thing, and we go, actually should put this back on because if we're about to put some water, it doesn't make any sense. There we go. But like poke specific size holes in the main line hose to allow me to have like smaller tubing of 4 millimeters that came out, and then effectively like that still had to be joined to the main with this like little specific like device that kind of suctioned into the mainline pipe to give a really good fit, and then also allowed for the conduit of the 4mm joining to it. And then of course that would go all the way until we would achieve the, the peach tree itself. But to kind of get to that point at all, to understand how on earth trees exist, and that sounds really stupid, but like I had to like take so much soil off the tree and take all the crap at the bottom off so I could actually see what was going on. So interestingly, trees, where the root is, like where the base is, it's called like the crown of the tree, which you don't want that to get like water on it. You want to make sure water gets to the roots that kind of like big chunky roots that flow from that and that go into the ground, because they're in the ground to draw in water, moisture and nutrients from the ground. So that's where we want to be delivering water to. So it was like the aha moment. I just kind of like watered the tree like an idiot, like, oh yeah, I just got like that, not understanding that those like they're called feeder roots. Feeder roots actually are exactly telling me that they need water, and that's what they're trying to do. So you'll notice that, like, I even noticed that some of the feeder roots came all the way out to the grass, because the grass will get watered, and would kind of try to get water from there. So it's just interesting how things grow. So basically, what you'll see is I had the stakes to the adjustable. So at the end of the 4mm, I put this little green thing with like a little stake in it, which anchored to the ground, and that would allow me to kind of space out to different like feeder roots. So all of those ones that come out from the tree effectively all got a great amount of water. So I ended up doing 5, and you also see that in one of the 4mm pipes, I did it like a junction. I did a junction and I split it. So I kind of had it, so it was like a little road. It was really cool. And that was really fun to target different areas of the tree. And then you'll notice that there's like a gap between the soil and also the tree itself. So you have to leave about like 20 to 30 mil. No, was that 100 mil? Like 20, I think like 15 to 20 centimeters from the root crown, so you don't overwhelm it and kind of overburden it. So that's why you'll see that, like, when I kind of poured it, I had this like piece of like wood cutting from the, plywood cutting from when I did the project for the planter box, which effectively allowed me to have a good like template to space it out. So then when I poured the dirt, so then basically what we did is we poured the dirt, put that there, and it was awesome. But then I came to find out that we've effectively protected the root, and we've got the dirt, which is awesome, and the soil, you know, nutrients and whatnot. But the problem was, you have to kind of, like a blanket, you have to kind of like tuck it in and kind of protect it from like the sun and just damage. So I got some mulch, wood mulch, about like 70-litre bag or something. And that basically allowed me to raise up the space, and then kind of putting the drippers back in there, it basically protects like the feeder roots getting like direct sunlight or just damaged. So it kind of like insulates them in that regard, and then it just kind of helps everything to naturally, the nutrients from the mulch to drop down as well. And it's just really kind of cool to see that. And then I guess because I'd raised so much soy and mulch, there was a bit of I wanted to kind of create a separating border. And this is kind of like another trip later, like an aha moment, that I realized I wanted to create what's like a perimeter. And I did so with like recycled, like a rubber tire compound, which like you can see like me kind of, I've got photos of me like hammering it in and stuff, and kind of how you can bend it. And that was really cool because that kept the bark out of the lawn and the lawn out of the bark. So that meant that when I mow the lawn, it's a bit more, you know, segregated, if that makes sense. And it kind of just looks more proper. So that was kind of really cool. But then as you'll see, where one of the trunks that goes into the feeder roots that goes into the grass, it's so big I don't want to cut into it. So I just basically cut a space from the rubber thing, the rubber border, to basically allow me to put like it on the side of it. So it kind of went around it. So that was kind of cool as well, to effectively, yeah, have it. And I guess the cool thing was, and there's like a lot going on, but it was actually really easy. So what I mean by that is, as soon as I kind of figured out the timing program for the water system, it worked like clockwork. I could kind of press the button and the water came all the way through. Now, yeah, I did have to plug the end of the 13 mil and also secure the 13 mil to the hose with this like little aluminum ratchet key thing that put pressure on it so it wouldn't like spill off. But everything's been awesome. So then I guess to see that and then kind of adjust the drippers because they're like on a, you know, righty-tighty, loosey-goosey. To kind of see the water come out of there was like really awesome. So that was kind of like the culmination of like understanding that like it went from being something that I had no idea to kind of like having a like detailed knowledge in which in the future when like we have kids, like can explain to them how this works and kind of, you know, how we achieve something like this. And compared to like the planter box project, this would be like a 2 out of 10. So I was like, it was a good little refresher thing to do that didn't take that long and was like pretty considerable. Like wasn't that expensive budget wise. I think all up for everything, I think I spent right on $200, which I think is pretty fair. Most of it was just kind of like $40 was the digital timer thing itself, which is an investment. So I guess this is how I conquered the mountain of how to deliver fresh fruit to yourself or how to care for something that was been at the house longer than me and kind of ensure it can thrive for many years to come. So that's that one. So conquer mountains, conquer life. If you'd like to support me, there's a link in the description below for Life Cycles, where I take you through everything you need to know to get a bike, to leverage it for fitness, weight loss, save money, and, you know, transform your fitness and just use it to zip around and have the best quality of life ever. So many tips to save thousands, hundreds, and $50 every single time you ride a bike by just investing in that book for, I believe it's the price of like $10, which is crazy. So get on it. You want to support me, but want to support yourself more so and like transform. That is the tool that will allow you to do it. It requires an investment because you have to invest in a bike anyways. So I'm helping you make that next step towards your better self to conquer mountains and conquer life in a physical and metaphorical sense.